Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had a pretty good draft and also the re-sign stage. We did make a pretty big trade at the draft, acquiring a top 5 pick, and we managed to take that offensive defenseman we were looking at. And we also added a couple other good players in that first round and some other rounds. So we're starting to build up a pretty solid foundation for the defensive side of things, which is nice. Because as you can see now, we have like Palin, obviously, who we brought in from the Toronto Maple Leafs last year as a nice medium elite shutdown defenseman. He's going to be a perfect kind of guy to have next to somebody like Vandermeer, who's now a offensive defenseman, 79 overall, and will likely be on our blue line next season because he's already listed as a top 6 defenseman. So very excited for that. Also, we do have guys like Graham, we have Vernarski, who we just drafted, we have like guys like Nilstorp. So we're starting to build that foundation of young defenders, Galvis, Kane, Kyrou. It's a very exciting time, obviously, for this team. And then we also drafted some goaltending prospects. We drafted another medium elite that's already 20 years old, and we also drafted this King guy who's only 17 years old. So we do have some goalie prospects in the system to at least give Dag a little bit of a run for his money if Dag doesn't end up being that great for us. But I am very excited to see what this team does going forward. And obviously our forward core in general has been already pretty good, so it's just all about like kind of piecing together the last finding puzzles, and we should be a playoff team again. And hopefully we can even do better than we've done in the past. But we did shade away about like Michelli, and Michelli, losing him is kind of a big blow to this team. It's not substantial, but it is a little bit of a blow, but it does make us still look pretty good on paper. As you can see, guys like Kagorodov should jump into our lineup this season. So we still have a very good foundation. Yakla is going to maybe get an opportunity this season as well. So at least some of the younger guys are going to be able to crack our lineup a little bit more. So yeah, very excited to see that. And yeah, I guess we're going to get into free agency right away pretty much, because I am recording this episode before you guys see the next episode, or the last episode, because technically the last episode that you guys would have seen and goes up in a minute, so I'm going to have to actually post that. But so you guys won't have enough time to actually give me opinions on who to sign and all that stuff. But I don't really think we're going to be signing or trading for any big name players this offseason, because I kind of want to just maybe see if our team is cap compliant as is. If not, we could always sign ourselves some depth forwards for a few $1 million that will help us out a little bit. I think what we kind of need is maybe more defenders. Let's see, 3, 6. Yeah, we could maybe use another defender, because I don't think I want to use Vernarski in the NHL this year. I think him in the AHL for 1 year would be probably beneficial. So we'd be running like Palin, Heinola, Vandermeer, Kyrou, Galvis, Kane, and Scarlett wouldn't be even signed yet because he's not even AHL eligible. So yeah, we need probably a 7th defenseman at least to our defensive core. Yeah, I think that's what we'll get, as a 7th defenseman, and then we'll also sign ourselves a backup goalie for Dag. So technically we need 2 things at least. Let me just write these down on a paper. So we need 1. Oh my goodness, my pen is not working, of course. 1 depth defenseman. Let's just write DD, I guess. 1 goalie. And forward wise, I don't think we really need too much, because we got 3 there, 4 there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Barlow could be a 12th guy, and then we just need 2 depth forwards potentially. So let's just say 2 depth forwards as well. So we kind of just need our depth options and a backup goalie, which is not bad. So that's what we'll use with our remaining cap space, because we should probably have some cap space left. Okay, so I put out the last episode that you guys would have seen just now, so that is good and ready to go. Okay, let's get into our signings, I guess. I don't really know what I really want to bring into this team, but actually let's advance a few days first, just because I want to see if those RFAs, or what was it RFA-wise. I could actually just give the RFAs all what they're asking for, because we have the money, so let's just do that. But we are going to like kind of determine a little bit on these guys to like 1 year only. I don't mind 3 years on Galvis, but then he'd be UFA. That's the only problem. That's not bad. You know what? We could do a 3-year deal for him. I guess we could always just try and sign him at the end of his UFA status. Let's just give him what he's wanting. Might as well. He's not that bad. And then Kane wants a 3-year deal similar to him. And I could give these guys both contracts. It's a movable contract, so might as well just give them exactly what they're asking for. And then Dag as a starting goaltender. We'll give you a 1-year deal at $4 million bucks. It might be a bit of an overpayment right now, but it's to help us with our cap situation. So I don't mind that at all. $4 million for him. And that should still have us having enough cap space to sign ourselves some depth forwards and defensemen. Let's first look at the goaltending situation here in free agency, because we do need a backup goaltender. The depth pieces I'll wait a few days on, and I don't mind waiting a few days on, but the backup goalie is a big one for us because we did decide to let go of Dostal. So I want to bring in somebody else as that backup. I don't want somebody with a starter role, so Askarov onwards is not really what I'm looking to get. It's more like Dostal, Zherenko, Blackwood, and John Gibson's probably going to drop off a little. Same with Drieger. Maybe Malik actually is listed as a minor starting forward. We could bring back Colton Ellis. We know that he was good in his limited time here. Colton Ellis might not be a bad option again, to be honest. Let me think. Do I want to bring back Colton Ellis? He's only 28. There's also Malik, who's 27. More of a minor league starting goalie, but I don't think he's gotten an opportunity at the NHL level yet. He's been relatively good at the AHL level. And he has played some preseason games, but looking at his attributes, not that I could really read goaltenders that well. He's very athletic, good puck control, solid reflexes. You know what? We're going to sign Malik. He's a little bit younger than Colton Ellis, so that's the reason why. We're going to have him a one-way deal and just give him over $1 million by a little bit just to help us in case we need to get to that cap floor. And then we'll probably sign ourselves those depth options to a little bit more money than they're asking for, depending on how much cap space we need to still sign. But I don't think we're going to make any trades this offseason and just kind of go with the team we have pretty much. So Lindstrom accepts, of course, Malik, Galvez, Kane. We're still waiting on Dag and a couple others. So there is Kairu, awesome. Dag as well. So we should have all our RFAs signed up. And we should still have a good amount of cap space, right? Yeah, $27 million in cap space. And all the RFAs are signed. The new question is, do we have to sign guys to contracts more than they're actually worth, or do we actually have the minimum cap? We're below the minimum cap still. That's actually kind of crazy. We're building in such a good squad that we literally don't even have to almost worry about the amount of cap we have, in a sense. Okay, well, we're going to have to sign 2 players. A couple depth forwards. I'd say we had 2 guys that were exempt contracts-wise, so I don't know if we gave contracts to guys that are in the WHL still, which would kind of suck, but it is what it is. Let's just find ourselves some depth pieces for the team. So we'll start off with defense. We need ourselves, I said, a depth defenseman, at least. Maybe even 2 depth defenders would be okay. Looking for guys that are relatively young. Anton Olsen, his name is? Yeah, Anton Olsen would be okay because he's only 26. I want to go for those younger options. So I'll give you a 1-year deal and crank up that price a little bit. Let's give you $2 million instead of 1.3, which is not egregious. It's not like I'm giving him $13 million like I know some of you guys don't like that. And the other depth defenseman, we'll find somebody like a little bit lower that could also play in the AHL. If we need to call up somebody, we'll call them up. We could do Toure. Yeah, you know what? We'll do Toure. He's a cool dude. I've seen like videos on him when he signed his ELC with the Sens. Seems like a really nice guy, so we'll give him a 1-year deal as well and give him a little bit more than he's actually trying to get. Because we want to set these guys up financially. I could have went for the Samson dude actually too. Oh, Ethan Samson, he's a real guy. I just thought he was going to be a generated dude for some reason. Okay, so we got ourselves some depth defenders. Now let's sign ourselves some depth forwards. We don't really need depth in terms of centermen. We need more depth in terms of wingers. So I'm probably going to sign a couple wingers. And then center-wise, I don't think I'm going to sign any depth centers. Codes is a 4th liner. Looking more for depth kind of guys. Knack. Maybe he has a knack for the net. He has actually pretty good offensive awareness and passing. I like that actually. So Simon Knack. Might be pronounced Simone Knack. We'll give you a little bit more as well than you're asking for. Let's just bump this up to $2 million because I don't know how close we are to the minimum cap floor. So there is Knack. We'll also sign ourselves a left winger. And let's see, who is that going to be? These 80 overall ones are guys that are just dropping off a lot due to age, so I'm not going to sign them. Valtteri Pustin is 30 years old. Jeez. Let's see, there's got to be somebody interesting that's decently young, like 26, 27. Or are these all 29-year-olds? Oh, there's one. And this guy's not the best player in the world, but to be honest, that might be our best option. William von Barnekow? Barnekow. Wow. So it's when you put a cow in a barn, isn't it? I'm joking. That's I don't know if that's an offensive thing to say, but kind of an interesting last name. So you will be our other depth option potentially there, William. And I think we are good. We could have assigned like Kisikov, but that's okay. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we got ourselves our players. If we need to still sign more players to get to the cap floor, we will. But I think we should be close to the cap floor, I would assume. Very excited to see what Vandermeer does this season. There's a pretty big trade. Detroit has acquired Barrett Hayton in a third for Mo Sider a third and a fourth. So apparently Mo Sider is less valued than Barrett Hayton at this stage, which is interesting. So there's Toure, Von Barkenau, Olsen, Knack, and I don't know how close we are to the floor. Let's see. We're still below the cap floor. Are you kidding me? Wow, actually we're still waiting on the backup goalie, I think, right? Yeah, I think we're still waiting on the backup goalie, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check on that. Are we still waiting on the backup? No, the backup goalie was earlier. So we do actually still need to sign another couple pieces. Jeez, man. Okay, we're signing somebody good for the AHL, I guess. Because honestly, I don't know what I want to sign. We might just have to sign somebody to a cap whale kind of contract. I could sign another winger for the NHL just in case. So let's go with Brandon Coe here. And he might be a guy that actually cracks our lineup, but he might not be. Let's give you $2.5 million just to see if that gets us to the cap floor. But giving somebody like him a contract for our fourth line isn't something that wouldn't be that bad. He might actually play over like Von Barkenau, for example. So there's Coe accepting. So Brandon Coe is on board. Are we at the cap floor now? Let's see. We're just below it still. Jeez, man. How hard is it to get to the cap floor with this team? Because, like, literally we are on 43 out of 50 contracts, yet we still need to sign more. So let's sign one more player. And we'll do another $2 million contract. We'll do a center, I guess, this time, even though we don't need centers. We will still sign ourselves a center for the AHL, like Oliver Kapanen is his name? Yeah, Oliver Kapanen. Wine as well. He is a UFA, so we'll do that. We'll do a 1-year deal, and we'll give you 2. Let's do 2.5 again. He honestly could play over some of the other guys too, but these are just depth options to try and make our team better in the NHL and AHL at the moment, and cap compliant too. So there's Kapanen on. So we should have all of our players that we need signed, right? Yes, now we're, I think, just a hair above the cap floor, so we might have problems making trades, but that's okay because I might not even make much trades this season. So let's begin the sim up to next season and see what we're looking at lineup-wise. It's going to be interesting to see what this team is looking like. And like I said, I'm very excited to see what this team does this season in terms of everything. Was I supposed to sign any coaches and stuff? I think I was, wasn't I? Or maybe not. No, we have all our coaches and stuff for an AHL assistant. Okay, never mind. I wasn't too sure. I couldn't remember if we needed coaches and staff or not. But we are good to go, so going to be exciting to see what the team looks like. Like I said, I'll probably end up having a pretty good power play setup because we have like Irving that can play on the point with the offensive defenseman we just drafted at Vandermeer. Like, we should be a team that actually scores a lot more from the back end now because we have that offensive defenseman and a good puck mover. But also, like, the defense score should be a little bit improved from last year. The forward core might be a little bit worse because of the fact we don't have Michelli anymore, but it should be still a good year ahead for this team. Playoffs, I think, are definitely doable, but obviously depends on how the lineup is looking, which it's looking pretty good based on this. Oh boy, I like it. Let me actually see what we could do here in terms of adjusting these lines. So we want Lucius probably right there. We probably want Perfetti. Irving could still stay there. Stankoven could play on the left wing on that top line. I don't mind it. He was really good last year. And then we have Grosek on this wing. That looks decent. Hellenius is a second line forward though, which Grosek is still a third line scoring forward. So we'll probably want to actually put Irving maybe on the left side since he's a right-handed shot. We could go Hellenius up there. Trying to think of what we could do here. And it doesn't really make it much better in any way possible. We'll put Grosek on the right side because he's a left-handed shot. We'll put Lindstrom over there. Yeah, this team's looking pretty good. I'm liking the vast variety of young players in our lineup. And we will likely go with Kagerodov down the middle instead of Kumpalainen. Defensively, ooh, that chemistry doesn't seem super good. Oh, there we go. Okay, that works better. So we got our defensive defenseman with Palin, with Vandermeer, the offensive defenseman. We'll put Kyrou together with Galvis. And then we'll have Kane with Heinola on that top bearing. Ooh, maybe I could go with Galvis with Kane instead. You know what? That might be better. And Dag and Malik, Knack and Co. as depth options. And we will call up ourselves a depth defenseman. But I think our team is pretty much set in stone with who we have up here. We could call up Graham, who's actually listed as a top 6 defender already. Wow, I didn't expect him to jump up to a top 6 defender. That's interesting, but I don't think I would not want to knock anybody out on the lineup. The only one I wouldn't mind moving out from is Heinola, but he's a big cap whale on this team right now. He is signed for one more season after this, so we might look to trade him next off season just to get Graham into the lineup. Nilstorp is 22 and 78. I'd rather keep him there, so we'll probably call up Olsen as the depth option, which should be good. We do still have guys like Toure and whatnot that could come up at some point if need be. And we should be pretty much good to go with that. Let's just double check on our power play lines, and we'll also check the AHL lines a bit. Ooh, like look how skilled this first unit is. Misa, Irving, Hellenius, Vandermeer, and Lucius. I am going to swap Irving and Lucius around, but Vandermeer being on the first power play unit already is really, really nice. Misa, Perfetti, Yakala, Stankov, and Kyrou. I like it. I like the looks of this. Yakala getting power play time is really nice too, because this guy, we know he can pass the puck really well. He's got great offensive awareness. He should be able to set up a good amount of goals on that second power play unit. So that's good, and I'm not even going to really pay much attention to the penalty killers because I'm pretty sure it was good last year. But what I'm going to do here is set up the shooters and all that stuff. So we want the distributor here to be Misa. Irving's going to be the finisher. And the puck carrier here is going to be Vandermeer. Second unit, we're going to have the distributor be Yakala because of his passing. And the finisher is going to be likely the Stankoven. And Kyrou could be the puck carrier. I think that's good. Yeah, that should be good. Obviously, we could make Perfetti the distributor, but I want Yakala to get an opportunity to get a lot of assists. So I think that is pretty good. Now, Koh might lose morale because of ice time, but that's okay. Knack's still a depth forward. Olsen's still a depth defenseman, so that's all good. AHL-wise, let's make sure we have our prospects in over the guys we just signed, if we need to. Which right now, everybody's okay to be in the lineup. That's good. Okay, let's prioritize our younger guys, though, first. So we will get our top prospects in the lineup a little bit higher than the guys that we just signed free agency-wise. I think that's pretty good there. Yep, that's all good, I think. Nilstorp is definitely not developing much for low 6, but that's okay. But, yeah, we have, like, Wilson down there, Cam, Renta. Rafalski is okay as well. We have Barlow, Jaqueezy. Jaqueezy should be exciting. Defensively, let's see what we got here. Vernarski and Graham looks pretty good. We don't need Toure in our lineup. Roach, I think, was a prospect of ours. Low 4, we'll get him in instead of Dejibre. If that's not how you actually say it. Hope I'm saying it properly. We'll, Louis Vars, low elite. Nordstrom's a low 4, but he's 21. How good is Bishop? Medium 6 at 20. We could get Pierce Bishop in instead of him. We also do have Barnett, actually, who's a medium 4. So Barnett definitely needs to be in the lineup. And we will see if we actually don't have a -3 there. Let's see. No, we do have a -3. Let's see. We could rework this a bit here. Wow, there's no way to get rid of that minus. It might be glitched out. Yeah, I think it's glitched out. Let me just go back and forth. Because it should be getting rid of that -4 at some point, right? You'd think. Maybe just move Louis Vara and swap this around. Yeah, I feel like it's glitched because there's no way that shouldn't be still saying -4. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to that again in a second just because I think it's a little bit glitched out. So let's just double check on that, because I don't want it necessarily to be a -3, but it wouldn't be terrible if it stays like that. Let's see. Still says -3. Man, this AHL coach does not want to work well with this young defensive core. I guess we'll just prioritize based on potential. So we'll probably put Louis Var up instead of Barnett. I guess we'll just go something like this, to be honest. Yeah, we'll just keep it together. And goalie-wise, Grant and Scarlett, that's good. So Toure is scratched, Bishop is scratched, which kind of sucks. Ivanov scratched, and Nordstrom scratched. So a couple of good prospects are scratched, but it still looks pretty good on paper. That AHL team should be a playoff team easily, and enters our NHL team. Okay, I think we're pretty much ready to start simulating a little bit, which is exciting. I am hoping for a pretty good season out of our young offensive defenseman. I think he should do really well, considering we got all the skill on that power play unit, and now he's just helping drive that boat quite a bit. So our power play should be good this year. So yeah, let's start simulating. I guess we'll simulate through a preseason. We'll probably simulate up to like December 1st in this episode, maybe January the 1st. I would like to get the season simulation done next episode potentially, depending on how we're simulating. And then the episode afterwards, if we make it, would be the playoffs. So the start of the playoffs at least. So let's see what we do here preseason wise. Looking pretty good, but obviously preseason doesn't matter too much. We are going to go 5-1-1. Pretty good. Let's see. The point leader was Perfetti. Not too bad. Now comes the interesting part, the regular season. I hope that Vandermeer could maybe win a Calder as a defenseman, because you always see forwards winning it, but since he's an OFD, maybe he has a chance to win a Calder this season. That would be awesome. Okay, let's go to the 1st of November and see how we do in our first month of action. We win our first game of the year in overtime, and then we lose our next game. A 7th round pick for Kevin Lankinen. I don't really need a depth goaltender, but I appreciate the offer there. Don't really need depth goalies. Okay, we're off to a pretty good start here. That's great to see. Promising, but now we've lost 3 straight games. 4 straight games after I said that, of course. Wow, so we were 4-1-1, and then we lose 3-1 to Ottawa, 3-2 to Pittsburgh, 2-1 to Minnesota, and 2-1 to Florida. So our offense seems to be off to a little bit of a sluggish start, which is kind of weird. Don't know why. We are in a wild card spot at the moment, not that it matters. And Misa's over point per game, but I think our depth scoring is definitely not doing too well, especially over those last few games, which is kind of weird considering you'd think it'd be better, but maybe the loss of Michelli's hurting us more than I thought. Let's go another month and see what we're looking like at the end of November, because we should be able to be above 500 with this type of roster, my guess. Barlow has been injured in the AHL. That kind of sucks. Let's go replace player. It kind of sucks that he didn't pan out really as a player for us. Like, he's kind of like a depth forward at best at this point. We got to get Dujibre Toure out, because apparently he was playing depth forward for us in the AHL. There we go. Perfect. Let me stop the sim, because I can't even see what's happening. I hate when Edge does that. It's kind of annoying. Okay, Western road trip, it looks like. 6-1, 3-2 and 5-3 win. Nicely done, boys. 8-1 win there and a 5-3 loss. That's much better. Much better in those last 2 games. So 11-7-3, still not the best. We are outside of a wild card spot, but we do have a game in hand on the Preds. Not that it matters, because we are very early into this year. And Misa's still very much killing it at 27 points in 21 games. Who's up for renewal this offseason? I want to look at maybe potential extensions already. Luke Misa. Okay, what is Luke Misa wanting? Wow, he's actually wanting to get paid a decent amount. I don't mind it, but he's kind of like a third liner for us at best, right? Yeah, I think he's actually producing really well, though. He's at 21 points in 21 games. So him and his brother have been very good with this team. So I actually might look at locking him up on like a 4-year deal. I just got to open up my calculator here, because he would be a good third line center to have for now, but he might end up getting into our top 6 at some point. I didn't realize he would develop so well when I brought him in. So we'll try and get him at an 85% trick, so we might be able to get him to like $5.1 million for 4 years, which is a movable contract, I think. I just hope that he doesn't obviously drop off. The other guys I'm not going to be too worried about right now. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about the other guys too much at the moment. But once we got rid of guys like Heinola and stuff like that, we're going to have more cap space available, which is good. So we'll see if Luke Misa accepts that, and we'll simulate 1 more month. So we'll simulate all the way to January the 1st, I think is what we're going to. Yeah, we're going to go to January the 1st. So that way we get a good chunk of the season simulated, and we kind of know what we want to do next episode. But I think we're definitely trying to make it to the playoffs as Luke Misa accepts, which is great. I think we should be a playoff team at this rate, too. But obviously we are a little bit streaky still. Like, we're definitely showing that we're still a young team. And Connor Vernarski has been injured with a fractured jaw. Oof, till the end of the year. That kind of sucks. Till the end of 2029. Hopefully that guy ends up making it to our blue line next season as well. Like, we definitely have a lot of options to go to within our lineup. Oh man, the offensive defenseman's been injured with a strained hamstring, out for a few days. But that kind of sucks, considering he's probably helping out the offense quite a bit from the back end. And Vernarski has already returned. Hopefully he's getting some good development down there, because it was a little bit weird to sign a young defenseman like him already, but I wanted to make sure that he got an opportunity to showcase himself here early on. Okay, and there's another win. 20-10-6, so that was a very good month for our team. We are now 2nd place in the Central Division at the halfway point pretty much of the year. That is really good to see, and Michael Misa's got 43 points in 36 games. I'm liking the way we're simulating right now. Wildcard's on 40 points, and it's Minnesota Wild of all teams. So it's literally the wild card. Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. We just got to obviously keep our foot on the gas, so to speak. But let's take a look at our team stats and player stats so far for this year. And like I said, next episode obviously is going to be pre-recorded as well. But I will be looking at potentially maybe just keeping this team the same for the rest of the year, because it's another one of those seasons where we don't want to obviously trade away too many good players. Hey, we're actually 5th. We're 5th best in the entire league? Wow. Okay, I did not expect that. We're actually really good right now, because when I looked at us in the Western Conference, I saw we were 3rd best. So it's like, it's not that, but really that great. Or it's actually not terrible. But then when we look at the entire league-wise, we're in 5th place. So we're doing really well. Really well. So we probably just want to stay course, so to speak. We are one of the best offensive teams, number 9 at the moment. Goals against per game wise, we are actually one of the best defensive teams as well, despite having a young defensive core. Our power play is clicking at 25.5%, which is actually pretty good, so our power play has been good. And our penalty kill is not terrible, but it's not fantastic by any stretch. It's kind of like mid-table. So I don't know if there's really much room for improvement with this team at the moment. But obviously if these guys keep developing overall-wise, that's going to help us out a lot. So player stats. Let's see who is doing what. Looks like the depth scoring is pretty good. Michael Misa on 43 points. He's been fantastic so far. Perfetti on 35. He's been good. Stankoven on 33. So the top line doing really well. And the top 6 doing really well. Luke Misa on 30 points is great. I honestly didn't realize this guy could actually simulate that well in franchise mode, because I'm pretty sure I've never seen him simulate this good. But both Misas have been really good. Lucius on 30 points is also really good. So these guys are almost all point per game, which is crazy. Okay, Grodov on 9 points. 7 goals for a guy on the 4th line. It isn't too bad. Don't mind that. Kumpalainen on 9 points as well. I'll take it. Grosek on 16 points, 7 goals, 9 assists. So he's a little bit low scoring-wise, but he has been good. I don't actually know if he's on the power play. I don't think he's on the power play unit, which is interesting. I might have to try and get him back on that power play, because I think he was last year. Yeah, he was on the power play last year, so I am going to put him back on the power play, I think. He's up to an 84 as well, which is kind of nuts. Lindstrom on 11 points, not too bad. Hellenius on 40 is pretty damn good. Irving on 30 points, 18 goals, and Yakl is on 12. Okay. Defensively, Cairo has been great. Same with Heinola. Great offense, great defense. Vandermeer's only got 11 points, but he's minus 8, so he's been very bad defensively for how good our team has been doing. He is developing, which is good, but his offense needs to be worked on still a little bit, looks like. Galvis 9 points, Palin 8 points, Kane 4 points plus 12, and Olsen nothing in 2 games. Goaltending's looking pretty good too. Gabriel Dag has been very good. Malik has been not the best, but that's okay. So in general, I'm liking the way this team is simulating, but it would be nice to get some players a little bit more ice time. Like, Grosek is scoring as much goals as Ville Heinola at the moment, which is not ideal. So I think I need to get him on the power play. And I might take Yakala off, to be honest, because Yakala hasn't been really showing me that he's a power play kind of guy. He's only got 12 points. So, and 5 of them have been on the power plays. So without the power play, he's probably not going to do too much. He's kind of a mid player at the moment, but let's go back to edit our lines for a second. And maybe I'll make some adjustments here for the start of the next episode. But I definitely want Grosek to be a goal scorer for us. So I want him on the power play, which I don't think he was, if I'm not mistaken. Olsen's in right now because of the injury. That's okay. Yeah, I guess we got to take Yakala off the power play here, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And we will throw in, not Lindstrom, we'll throw in Grosek because I didn't even realize he wasn't on the power play. And that should give him an opportunity to do some damage. He's not going to be the distributor. That's going to be Perfetti. The finisher is going to be him, though. And we'll see what that ends up doing for that power play unit. But everything's looking pretty good so far. I honestly don't think I'm going to make much trades in next episode. Kind of just stay the course with this team because obviously we don't want to give up any assets yet. And we don't want to necessarily bring in any assets either because we don't want to pay a lot for them. So yeah, I think we're going to just simulate the rest of the season in the next episode and hope that the team makes the playoffs. Obviously, if they do make the playoffs, then it should be interesting to see how long we make it for, because I think this team is definitely starting to grow into being a better playoff team than in years past. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So next episode, simulate the rest of the season, maybe make trades depending on how we are once we get closer to the deadline. And yeah, it should be an exciting season ahead for this Jets team. Say anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.